Netflix is involved in a lawsuit over their film Enola Holmes that they just released. They got sued by the Sherlock Holmes estate. Hi, my name is Wes Austin. I'm a patent lawyer, a stand-up comedian. Normally on my channel we talk about funny patents, funny trademarks, and legal news, and stand-up comedy. Today we're going to be talking about Sherlock Holmes. Netflix has been working on a film, Enola Holmes, starring Millie Bobby Brown. She is the girl from Stranger Things, the short hair and the bloody noses. Back in June, they got sued by the Arthur Conan Doyle estate for copyright infringement and trademark infringement. The game is afoot. All right, before we get into this too far, we're going to have to go back and visit a case, August 2014. It's a Seventh Circuit case involving the Arthur Conan Doyle estate, Sherlock Holmes, and someone else was trying to publish some Sherlock Holmes stuff. They got involved in a lawsuit, went up to the Seventh Circuit. The Seventh Circuit said, hey, Sherlock Holmes is mostly in the public domain. And as far as their licensing practices go, the Seventh Circuit judge said, hey, you guys, what you're doing is a disreputable business practice and a form of extortion. Ouch.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Here is a quote right from what the judge said. The Doyle's estate's business strategy is plain. Charge a modest license fee for which there is no legal basis in the hope that the rational writer or publisher asked for the fee will pay it rather than incur greater cost in challenging the legality of the demand. Now you would think after that kind of a thrashing from a circuit court judge, they would not be suing anyone else for quite a while. Wrong. They sued someone the next year. They sued Miramax over Mr. Holmes. The movie was starring Ian McKellen, you know, Gandalf and Magneto. But they did settle out of court confidential terms. So keep that Seventh Circuit case in mind. All right, so Netflix, working on their Enola Holmes film, in June 2020, they got sued by the Arthur Conan Doyle estate. And the Conan Doyle estate, they were trying to block the release of Enola Holmes. They sued them for copyright infringement and trademark infringement. And when this happened, I'm sure Netflix was like, what is happening? I thought Sherlock Holmes was in the public domain. Am I in the upside down right now? That's a reference to Stranger Things. Streaming now on Netflix. I'm not sponsored by Netflix. Not yet. The Conan Doyle estate, they claim that Netflix was infringing the copyright of Sherlock Holmes that was created in some of the later stories that were under copyright protection. So the Enola Holmes film was based on a series of young adult novels by Nancy Springer that was about Enola Holmes, the sister of Sherlock Holmes. Now, Enola Holmes was entirely created by Nancy Springer. She is not part of the original Sherlock Holmes canon. The estate conceded that anyone is free to use the original character of Sherlock Holmes, but they said that they must pay for any uses of the new significant character traits from Sherlock Holmes in the later books that are still under copyright protection. So here's a quote from the complaint filed by the Conan Doyle estate back in June. Nowhere in the public domain stories does Holmes express such emotion about the well-being of his companion John Watson. This friendship was not created by Springer in the Enola Holmes mysteries. It was created in the copyrighted stories and copied by Springer. I mean, I don't know that this warmth and friendship between Sherlock Holmes and Watson is new, is it? I mean, I'm not an expert, but it seems like he would always say, my dear Watson.
My dear Watson.
It's elementary, my dear Watson. And they kept working together, right? In like 50, 60, I don't know how many books, but tons. So it seems like there would be some kind of friendship there. They kind of liked each other. I don't remember anything where Sherlock Holmes would say, you tool, Watson, or anything like that would show they didn't like each other. So on October 30th, 2020, Netflix filed a motion to dismiss, trying to get this whole thing tossed out. And here's a quote from Netflix's motion to dismiss. Plaintiff is doing everything it can, lawful and unlawful, to force third parties to pay plaintiff for using the public domain Holmes in their own works. This court should reject plaintiff's attempt to extort publishers, producers, and content creators who use the public domain character Sherlock Holmes. So what does Netflix say about these new characteristics from Sherlock Holmes in the later books that are under copyright protection? They say they are plainly unprotectable general characteristics. Now, you will recall the estate is also trying to use trademark law, claiming trademark infringement. And Netflix argued against that, saying this clearly goes against the precedent, talking about the interplay between copyright law and trademark law. I'm sure that the Conan Doyle estate, they were just thinking, look, Netflix is doing something wrong. They're doing something wrong, right?
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. So they must be doing something wrong, right?
Maybe trademark infringement? Netflix is saying, no, you can't use trademark law to do this. Netflix wrote this in their motion to dismiss. Plaintiff attempts to use trademark law to do what copyright law can no longer do, prevent others from freely using and adapting Sherlock Holmes in their own works. But this is not the function of trademark law. So what do I think will happen? All right, don't quote me, but I think that maybe there's a chance this motion could be granted and this thing might be dismissed. It seems like the Conan Doyle estate is trying to say that warmth and kindness and respect, those kind of ideas are protectable under copyright law, and it doesn't seem like they should be. Otherwise, I don't know. That seems like they're really stretching it. And their trademark law claims, I mean, if those were able to work, then you'd basically be able to get around copyrights going into the public domain, right? Couldn't you just use trademark law to always extend them forever? So I could be wrong. Let's wait and see what the judge does. But thank you for watching, and tune in again next week. That was weird. Did you see that?